And nobody beats Jamey Eisenberg at anything. He gave you 2 props tonight. DJ Moore catches over 5.5. That was done by the first quarter. He already won that one, and that was plus money. That wasn't one that was favored to happen. He didn't take some real obvious one. And his under prop, Sam Darnold, under 1.5 passing touchdowns. He didn't get close. He didn't have any. 0, zip, nada. Again, plus money. That is doing it, and doing it well. So the 2018 and 2019 Fantasy Analyst of the Year jumping aboard. Carolina. McCaffrey's out. Chuba Hubbard is available in a lot of leagues. Sam Darnold, I don't know what to do with him. Does his stock go up? What's going on with Robbie Anderson? Break down the Panthers from me, fantasy perspective, currently with some uncertainty here.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty, obviously, with the #1 overall pick in the majority of fantasy leagues, EK. Clearly, that's the big story across the board, fantasy and reality. You know, Christian McCaffrey coming out of this game with the hamstring problem because he's the catalyst of this offense. And you saw they were able to put some points on the board after he left the game, but the offense looked completely disjointed. And so we'll see what happens with him moving forward. Like you said, 10 days to get ready for Dallas. Hopefully it was because Thursday night, after missing 13 games last season, they were going to be cautious with him and not necessarily put him back in the game with the hamstring problem. But you saw Chuba Hubbard come in and do some nice things. He clearly is not Christian McCaffrey, but can he be Mike Davis? That's the big story, because Mike Davis last year proved to be a decent fantasy option when he had to start all those games for McCaffrey. So Chuba Hubbard's roster percentage on CBS Sports.com leagues right now is 44%. That's going to be north of 90% by the time we get to next Tuesday, depending on what the results of the hamstring and the MRI and all the things that we're going to hear. I don't think he's going to necessarily be a must-start player, but we get Dallas next week. That's going to make him at least a flex play, and then hopefully it's not a long-term absence for McCaffrey, but clearly there's a lot to like about the situation, knowing what this offense is. DJ Moore is a must-start fantasy wide receiver until proven otherwise. He had a little injury scare, but thankfully he's fine. The one guy that's concerning right now is Robbie Anderson. I don't know where he's gone, what's happened, gets the contract extension, but 5 catches through 3 games is really troubling. You're going to see him dropped in some leagues. I think if you have the roster spot to carry him, you might, but very, very frustrating for Robbie Anderson right now. And give Sam Darnold credit. We shouldn't overlook him. 3 straight games, over 21 fantasy points. He went from 21 to 22 to 25. You mentioned it could be a shootout next week against Dallas, so he could have to carry the offense if McCaffrey's not there.
The only thing I don't like about DJ Moore is he basically scores once a month. That's the only thing I don't like about him. I mean, he's 4 touchdowns. I'd like to see that get to 8 or 9, and then he really moves into the next sort of echelon. The only guy who's in his own tier, who's a must-start for the Houston Texans, is Brandon Cooks. Everybody else you can just, jettison. He had 11 targets, 9 catches, $112. He was your start of the night for Houston. Who's your start of the week on Sunday?
Tyson Williams of the Ravens. It's been an interesting start of the season for him. Had some poor, pass blocking situations in the first game against the Raiders. Had the fumble at the goal line last week against the Chiefs. But clearly he's their best running back. I don't know. At some point they're going to make the switch and maybe give Latavius Murray and potentially Devontae Freeman or even Le'Veon Bell more touches. But last week in week 2 he played the same amount of snaps as both Murray and Freeman combined. 77 yards rushing. He's had a couple catches each week, but mostly it's about the matchup. The Lions stink, and so I think you're going to see another big game for Tyson Williams. Hopefully finds the end zone. They've given up 6 total touchdowns to running backs on the season. Aaron Jones had the 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. You saw the 49ers with a couple of touchdowns in week 1. Hopefully Tyson Williams finds the end zone again, gets you over 100 total yards. I think he's a top 12 running back in non-PPR, at least top 15 guy in PPR, but a must-start guy across the board.
And again, Jamey is just killing it for you. He's helping you with DFS, his under prop cash for you, his over prop cash for you. Whatever he says, just do it blindly and then take credit. Tell everybody you're the one who thought of it. He doesn't care. He just wants you to be happy, and he makes all of us happy. Excellent work, bud.
Thanks, Ben.
There it is. Fantasy football today. Jamey, rest of the crew, doing a heck of a job. Part of our great CBS Sports podcast family. You download, you follow, you enjoy.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.